Let's run through the Ethereum together and see what is really going on this chart and how we intend to position ourselves ahead of the New York session today. So the first thing we are going to be doing here is to run through the daily time frame, as we want to have an holistic view of what is really going on in this market. Now, if we take into consideration what has been happening since the beginning of this year, using our line chart, you will see that price action has actually been on a bullish note. So if we connect the series of higher lows in this market, definitely you can see that we have a bullish trend line which we can be using to guide this current structure that we have on the screen. Now, if we go back into this whole area here and take into consideration what has been happening since the month of April, you will see that we have a key level to work with at around the 1,800 level. Let me show you here in a moment. So since the month of March, this level has been a major determinant of price action. So let's map that out first, and I will be sharing with you why this level is so important based on this current structure. So let's label this area for the sake of clarity. So we have the 1,800 level mapped out. Now you can as well map this out on your chart as you go along with me here. So let's place this at the right hand side of our screen. So now look at this structure here. You would have noticed that since the month of March, this level had been a major determinant of price action. As you can see, throughout the month of March, this level was a very strong selling niche, as it was negating all attempt by the buyers to break out of that structure. Then after the breakout of that structure happened during the first week of the month of April, since then we can see how buyers had continued to negate all attempt by the sellers to bring price back below that level. So at this point, the 1,800 level is serving as two things for us in this market. The first one is it's serving as a key level, and secondly, it has been a very strong demand zone in the last 1 month. So what I will be doing here is to acknowledge the fact that it's a demand zone. So let's map out and call it our demand zone, at least in the meantime. As long as price remain above that structure, it's still going to be serving as our demand zone. So let's label it our demand zone. So I normally like my demand zone to be written inside, so we place it inside the box, and then we have this given a darker color, which is how I like my demand zone to be. So here we are now, we have a demand zone, and since the beginning of this month, as you can see here, price had continued to trade above the 1,800. So now common sense will tell us now that if we are going to be trading the Ethereum, we want to be looking out for buying opportunities at this point in time. The only thing that will make us to sell here is for price action to take out the 1,800, take out all the positions, all the buy positions there. If that happens, then this will be a signal that we might be going bearish. But remember, we are not going to be getting too excited at that point, as we still need some confirmation to happen, as the breakdown could turn out to be a false breakdown actually. So for us to confirm that the breakdown is truly a valid and eligible breakdown, then we want to scale down to our lower time frame to look out for structures like a retest of structure, giving us signs that buyers are finding it difficult to climb back above the 1,800. Then we want to be in to join a bearish move to the downside. And depending on how price action reacts to this trend line will now determine if we are going to be selling, adding more sell position, or if we have buy pressure resume again, then price action is likely going to be respecting the trend line one more time to incite another wave to the upside. So you can see how important the 1,800 is right now. So as long as price action remains above the 1,800, we continue to look out for buying opportunity. Now, to further capture and take advantage of a move today, we want to scale down to a much more lower time frame to understand how participants in this market has been reacting to the structure since the beginning of this week. Now, to do that, let's go down into the 4 hours time frame first of all and see what is happening there. So we can see here that during the later part of yesterday, we saw some sharp rejection of that structure. So we are still going to go further down. So I want us to have this key level very visible on our lower time frame when we get into the lower time frame there. Okay, so let's go to the 1 hour time frame first, and if we can find something to look forward to, then we scale down to a much more lower time frame. So right now we are on the 1 hour time frame, and I think we're beginning to see something to use to guide our trading activity for today. So what I will be doing right now is to bring out my line chart and then connect the series of lower highs, which is quite obvious that price action has been bearish since Saturday, and we shall be using this trend line as our yardstick for trading activity today. Now, coupled with the trend line, we want to have a level that will serve as a yardstick for today's trading activity, and that falls exactly along the $1,850 area, which is right here. So hold on a second, let's label this one out. So we have the $1,850 level here. So let's place this at the top right hand side of the level, and then we reduce the size of the font, and then here we go. So going into the New York session today, we already have a key level. You can see how the 1,850 has been a major determinant of price action since the beginning of this week that we are in. We saw how that level was a demand zone at first. We saw the breakdown of that structure back into the demand zone we identified on the daily time frame, and since then we have been seeing selling pressure around this area. And then we're at a very critical confluence right now where price action shares a confluence with the trend line that have been supporting the bearish momentum throughout the course of the weekend. Now, for us to buy at this point, and you know the reason why we are going to be buying, I told you on the higher time frame we are sitting on a very strong demand zone, and not unless price breaks down the structure, we'll hold on to a bullish bias as long as price action remains above the 1,800. Now, to buy the Ethereum today, I want to see price action do a breakout retest of the 1,850 level to take advantage of a bullish momentum. And if a breakout of the $1,850 happens, as you can see, price action would have taken out that trend line. Then at that point, it will be a sign that the trend line may no longer have the capacity to reject the bullish momentum anymore. And if that happens, if we are lucky enough, price action does retest of that structure, we want to be adding more position to our existing trade. And personally, based on the contraction we have in this market, if we compare the impulsive move from the trend line, look at the first one here. Can you see the first one here? If we compare it with the second impulse leg, you can see that it is reducing gradually. So this is the second impulse leg, and then if you compare it to the third one, you can see that it has reduced drastically, which is a sign that sellers are gradually losing momentum in this market. So if a breakout of this trend line happen at any point in time, it's likely going to be a massive move to the upside. So I would rather advise that you have a buy stop order anywhere above the 1,850, just right above the trend line, anywhere above that area to capture that move to the upside. Then if at any point in time we are lucky enough, price action comes back to do some couple of retest of structure with buy pressure, with signs that price action cannot break down the 1,850, then we want to be adding more position to our existing trade. So this is what we shall be looking forward to on the Ethereum today. So I hope you be on standby to catch this move for any buy opportunity in this market. And like I told you on the higher time frame, for us to sell the Ethereum today, we want to see price action break down the 1,800. We look out for a retest of structure which might also line up with a trend line. Then at this point we want to be part of a sell move to the downside. So you can see how the 1,800 level is being a major determinant of price action for today. So let's keep this in mind and use this level to our own advantage. So that is that on the Ethereum for today. I hope Norway 76 is still around. If you are still around, let me know in the comment section if you have any questions regarding what I just explained, so that I can shed more light in any area you think you need me to do so. So that is that on the Ethereum today, and I think on this note I would like to call it a day here. All right, you are welcome, Norway 76. So on this note, I would like to call it a day here. So let's keep our mind open on all the positions we have. We've had structures identified. Let's ensure that our key structures mature before our setups mature before we take advantage of any move. And remember that we have an high impact event. A high impact event coming up tomorrow, that is the CPI, and that is why we have been seeing a slow start to the week. Price action has been caught within a very choppy situation, and in this kind of market environment, the tendency of compulsive trading is very, very high. So that is why we have mapped out structures. So let's wait for the structures to mature before we want to be taking advantage of any move. I hope this is well understood. And remember also, we identified some speeches coming up today. We have the Jefferson speech coming up in about 1 hour 20 minutes from now, and then we have the Williams speech coming up in about 5 hours from now too as well. So these are medium impact events. So prior to those events and during and after those events, there is likelihood that we could see some spike in price movement. So let's ensure that we are in the market. If we have an open position, let's move our stop loss, secure the current position, and let's see how price action plays out. So on this note, I want to call it a day. I wish you best of luck during the New York session today, and I look forward to seeing you same time tomorrow, 10 a.m. UTC, 11 a.m. West African time, as we come here again to get prepared for the CPI event tomorrow, and as well review the pairs that we have been monitoring so far and see how well they are doing. Do have a wonderful day, everyone.